What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it looks like we have one final update on the Brian Laundrie Gabby Petito case today. The FBI news conference just happened. They didn't tell us much, but in case you're one of my viewers and you happen to miss it, I wanted to kind of recap what they said and what we can expect going forward. I think they did some important things by setting expectations. I'm really glad that you've chosen to tune in here. Maybe you found this just through looking for information on Gabby and Brian, or maybe you're one of my regular viewers, but I hope you enjoy the coverage or you're entertained or informed by it. If you do, please do click that red subscribe button down below. So this morning early, to recap, the FBI or the investigation was about to be called off in the Carlton Reserve. After 5 weeks of searching, they were ready to give up. Then, for whatever reason, last night, Brian's parents decided that they wanted to search the park again. Within minutes of arriving this morning, they located Brian's personal belongings, including a backpack and a notebook, in an area that was previously underwater. These are facts that have been now confirmed by the FBI. Will we ever learn? Was the backpack also underwater? Is there anything in the notebook that can be gleaned? Was there a note? Was there a letter? We don't know. We don't know the cause of passing. I think right now, while obviously law enforcement has to wait to kind of declare things here, which is totally fine, I think right now there's close to a 0% chance that this is not Brian Laundrie at this point. Whether or not he took his own, or, he got gatored or ran out of food and water, I don't know. But I think right now it's nearly certain that it was in fact him. They confirmed that it was his notebook and it was his backpack. The remains being underwater means that gators could have got at it, or whatever the case is. I spoke with online some people familiar with this process. Normally they would go with dental records on scene to try and identify him. In fact, they would even look at like the bugs in the area and try to decide. But the fact that it was underwater, who really knows how much is left? Is it just bones? How mangled is it? If it was a croc, that thing could chew through bones. So it's difficult to know for sure, but they also mentioned that they'll be on the site for multiple days, which means we probably won't get an official confirmation that it was Brian or is Brian for a day or two now. I will say, however, we talked to this morning, Brian's parents seemed convinced it was him. There was also some early reporting about him being in some sort of shallow grave. That seems unlikely. This was not confirmed by the FBI, but if it were the case, I would be looking very hard at maybe the parents showed up and saw, that he had done himself in and they buried him. I don't know. To me, it seems extremely unlikely that they didn't know exactly where he was. Now, maybe they knew that, this one area was underwater and then we wanted to come back whenever it was going to be the case. It's possible. We know that flight restrictions have been issued so that nobody can get any, high zoom lens looks at it. The area of the Carlton Reserve where they found it was flooded and muddy. So as in terms of a month ago, it was described, a no-go. And if we look at the actual walking area, this looks impassable, I don't know how far you're going to sink in when you step in there, but at this time he was already out there. So did the parents know, he traveled down this path? Did the parents know, the area where his tent used to be is underwater? And they knew that he wasn't going to be found. I believe strongly, and you let me know what you think, that the parents knew exactly where he was. I truly believe that, given the timing of everything. You could see the remains are, of course, human. They also found a backpack in the reserve where he was suspected to be hiding 5 weeks ago. And look, this is like Occam's razor again. Everybody had all these theories, including myself, and it turns out that he's exactly where the parents said he was. The parents said that he went to the Carlton Reserve. In fact, we did find out that where he was located was actually very close to where he had left his car. So his Mustang that was ticketed sat on that road and then eventually got picked up by the parents. He didn't get very far from there, is what it looks like. What do we know? Did the water destroy anything that was written in the notebook? It's certainly possible. The parents themselves seem somber. There have been flowers delivered to the house. I'll tell you this. It's extremely unsatisfying as somebody who's been covering this. It's extremely, I'm sure, unsatisfying for the parents that they won't get justice for Gabby. The guy going out in the woods and offing himself isn't going to provide their parents any kind of joy. I'm sorry, not joy, but sense of relief. Maybe if they found out that he got eaten by a gator, that might help them. It's difficult to say, but ultimately, the FBI didn't tell us much of anything. It was pretty disappointing, but there are some important facts. That the fact that flowers being delivered to his parents, I'm sure that the parents, believe that it is him. If it were me, right by the backpack, meaning he was in his campsite, wherever that was, and he did not survive it. People on Twitter saying they could have visited their son in prison, and instead they chose to visit him in a graveyard. If they had called police the moment he showed up, or the second he left for the reserve, this all could have ended very differently. That's really true, but I do think it's difficult to put yourself in a parent's shoes. I don't know what I would do in that scenario, but I can understand a parent not wanting to turn their kid in. I definitely can understand that, even if they knew for a fact. It's probably different if you thought there were going to be a continued threat or a continued thing, a safety issue. That could be true. But the fact that these items did belong to Brian Laundrie, that pretty much confirms this morning. The FBI confirmed a few things today. That was one of them. Will we see any news from the FBI tomorrow? Seems unlikely. Maybe if they identify the body. They didn't tell us what kind of shape it was in, or what if it was underwater, then certainly gators would be around, fish, all sorts of stuff would be gnawing at that. You could see here, backpack and notebook discovered by investigators did belong to Brian, according to the FBI. The agent, of course, didn't take questions. I don't know. This has been a wild ride. What I can say is, a silver lining to this is that they found the 5 or 6 other victims. They also found several other fugitives. So that's a silver lining. This investigation cost millions, probably tens of millions of dollars. And we all basically get, I don't want to use a term too blue, but we all get blue-balled a little bit on a trial and answers. What we're left with here are no answers. We don't know why Brian did it. We don't know if he felt bad about it. We don't know. We don't even know what if it was self-defense? We don't know. What if it was one of those things where they were tussling and I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know anything about this unless he told his parents in great detail about what happened, and they probably will never ever say anything about that. In a way, I'm happy that this is essentially over now. We can stop the search. I am sure inside of the FBI, they've already communicated like, hey, there's a very high, degree of likelihood that this is him. But they do need to confirm that. If and when the FBI makes a official announcement, I'll cover that. That'll probably be the end of me covering this story unless anything else crazy happens. I'm interested to see if the parents get charged. I suppose I can't say I'll be done with my coverage because who knows? I'm interested to see what your comments are in the comment section down below. If about what you think happened, about if you think the parents will get charged, and really just about this whole case. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, make sure you subscribe before you leave. I would greatly appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Meta PCs. Now, I know you're not going to run out and quick buy a brand new computer just because I ran this ad, but what I would hope is that you'll keep Meta PCs in mind for a variety of reasons and use my promo code, TheQuartering, to save big at checkout. Look, Meta PCs offers custom configurations. It has insane parts availability. They're one of the few people I see out there with the brand new NVIDIA 3090 in stock and shipping. When you buy from them, they offer you build photos as they work along. When you receive your PC, it's ready to go out of the box. It's 100% US-based sales and support. And one of my favorite things, it's a veteran-owned business. Meta PCs is veteran-owned. One of Meta's owners has served in Afghanistan and Iraq and received a Purple Heart for his service. Meta also employs military veterans in the Meta Operations Center and also provides systems to veterans going back to school to help them re-enter the workforce all across the United States. Meta PCs also offers financing. Head on over to MetaPC at metapcs.com. Use code TheQuartering at checkout to save money and support my content. If nothing else, go configure a PC, build a little wish list, and when you're ready, remember to use code TheQuartering at checkout at MetaPCs. I know I'll be getting myself a brand new one before the end of the year. Check out metapcs.com.